Okay, trying this again. Hello, been a while. I'm not feeling up to a lot lately, but I want to give you something, and what is something very easy I can do, very low commitment. We're just going to do a general Hangout update video, and this'll be it. What's something that I enjoy that I feel like I can share with you, feeling no obligations? What's something even easier right now on my senses than a playthrough of Pikmin 2? For whatever reason, it's Intravenous 2. Am I going to talk about Intravenous 2? No, not really, I don't think right now. We're just going to... I skipped the story, now and then I've made a game of this, trying to just beat this game without dying, so that's tonight's agenda. What have I been up to? The usual. I've just pulled my Colonel Kurtz, as people put it. I've just fucking gone into the E-wilderness and picked fights with strangers for a while and shoved things into my head. Things which I make my own beautiful idiosyncratic sense of, don't you worry, as I always do. But then do I go and, like, share that with you in any given way? Nah, I don't really have a place to do that or anything that I really feel overwhelmingly pressed to share with you, unfortunately. That's just where we're at right now. Yeah, that's the short version of the update, and now I guess that's off. We can just relax into this, and I'm gonna play Intravenous until I die, and we'll see how many Anthony thoughts and updates you get until that happens. I know this game pretty decently, so it might take a while. That's right, Steve, we gotta get out of here. It's not safe. Oop. There's that guy. I feel like this would be a fun game to talk over. Like, if I were to start streaming, it'd be really fun to stream Intravenous. I know someone who streams. I should just say, like, yeah, do I have to get, like, a second monitor or some shit? How do you do this? How does it work? But yeah, what have I been up to lately? I've been putting movies in my head, been putting games in my head, just all kinds of stuff, and again, I'm making my own sense of it, even when it's not the best of things. It all just gets woven into the tapestry when you've got a working, strong heuristic for just making sense of whatever passes before your eyes. You can't really truly waste time. You just build a denser and more complex picture of the world, no matter what you're doing at any given moment. Can't help but do that, and yeah, that's how I tell myself it's not a total wash, whatever I'm presently up to, but that doesn't mean I'm making great use of my time either. But what have been the notable points lately? Well, if you're watching this right away, you'll know what I've been up to, that I've been going on RPGcodex and getting into internet bar fights with people very stupid who don't really understand me. Not a great way to spend your time, but it's what I do. And I've managed to, in my own way, as I was just saying, make about as worthwhile an experience of that as is possible just by... Yeah, is it the heuristic thing? Is it making sense of the world through people? Not particularly in this case. If there's value in the experience, it's just... Whoop. Pay attention, Anthony. There's guys who want to kill you. Hey, what's this connected to? Oh, that's no fun. Whoop, my mouse is doing its thing where it tries to give me a heart attack. Oh, this is I tried a couple of other things. Nothing felt quite right to relax and talk over, but for whatever reason I find Intravenous a very relaxing game. I might be making this look easy, but this is very tense, like you can just get fucked up and die quickly kind of thing. But I'm just that good, aren't I? Look at that rating. Improvisator, that's me. I'm the improvisator, I don't edit my videos. Steve's house, why not? We're going to skip the story. This game could get a proper playthrough on this channel at some point, but for the minute we're just going to treat it like an arcade game. I don't know if the creator really meant for it to work well for this, but it does. I've been meaning to communicate with him a little bit on Twitter. I'm still not active there, I think it was bad for me, but if I go public again, I might try to relax and just talk to public figures if I have questions for them, basically. Maybe I could even make a new account to do that, I don't know, I've been considering the possibility of doing that, since I'm... You know, you people know who I am, and I can just basically put thoughts in places and approach people from something more like a 0 than a, like, really hostile foundation with the baggage of all the fucking Peruvian cryptids who follow me on Twitter and make a mess of things. Not saying that they really do actively, but just, like, being attached to that whole thing, it's just like, if I go up and talk to Intravenous guy, will he be like, no, I am a humble, Hagrid-maxed quirk chungus, I don't talk to angry weirdos. Fair enough if he does say that, but just like, yeah, I'm just trying to... I want to get some gratification out of my time online. People feel like I got potential to live up to, so let's try to do that. Maybe we should get a productive internet presence happening, I don't know. But anyway, that wasn't really what I came on here to say, that just came to mind. Maybe that means I should be addressing those thoughts. Fuck it, let's bring the shotgun. Fuck stealth games. And we have money as well. Let's bring along a 1911 and swag that out. This game lets you do all this fun stuff. Isn't this cool? This wasn't meant to be a show-off Intravenous video, but it is now. Why not? Customize that thing. Yeah. And we'll keep the traditional mag. I don't want to make my 1911 lame with nerd attachments like you. We're not getting a binary trigger on our 1911 or a suppressor. No, this thing is loud and evil. And we're not bringing along stealth gadgets because I've decided I just want to kill people now. Yeah, frag grenades are awesome in this game. And plate and Kevlar, let's rock. Oh, you know what I should do? If I have money left, I should sink it into the shotgun. Where is the extended mag? That's what we want. And that'll have to do it, I think. Yeah, this game lends itself very well to being played like an arcade game. You just build different guns and go have fun with them, and the way this game works as well is it's like Hitman 2, you can accumulate guns as you go. It's interesting how many of this game's ideas seem to come from like 6th generation console games. It's like, it's Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, it's Hitman 2, it's a bunch of stuff like that. Whereas like aesthetic cues are just from like shitty movies Second World as Love, internet memes, and like specifically a lot of the quirks of how violence is presented in this game remind me of Hideo Kojima's games. Like the feedback of people getting shot, which I'll show you in a moment, feels very like the choice of impact sounds is very influenced by Kojima, I think. Now I don't perfectly remember this level's layout. If I were to like try to stealth this thing, probably like the memories would come back to me. I can ghost like the first half of this game if I really want to. It was an idea I had that I should go back to, is like making videos about trying to ghost this game, but then be like, do I want to like edit for half an hour for every like one run? That would be fucking exhausting. Ah, awesome. Yeah, this game really goes like 0 to 100 if you actually like get the attention of the bad guys. Let's see. This is great. I think that's more, sorry, the Kojima point about like the feedback of shooting a guy, that's more like if you use a silenced gun and like you shoot someone and no one notices, and like, yeah, just the like sound of that impacting the like way that he emphasizes the bullet landing and the cycling of the gun, like wants both of those to be distinct sounds you pick up. That kind of attention to detail, maybe he's been playing Metal Gear Solid 5, but maybe as well that's just like the natural gun fetishes thing coming out again, but like, yeah, if you actually do appreciate this stuff, you just like those details because they're cool, and they just independently agree that like, yeah, this is awesome, that's awesome. A game just saved, but we've decided we're not using saves. This is our Iron Man indie game. fucking Balatro survival run, whatever we call it. And... whoop! Told you this game's hard. But what we do is we just go to our challenge save, whatever I called that. Let's go back to the start of the game, why the hell not? I think it's inherently fun, I can just do this a few times and have a pretty fun gaming session. What do you think? Does this look entertaining? Does it make you want to play Intravenous? I hope it does, because, yeah, in the Discord, which you're welcome in, by the way, even if I threw you out, consider asking to come back. Yeah, I, told everyone I know in various places to buy Intravenous when I first played this. I thought it was fantastic, and my opinion has not changed. This is, one of the most charming games I've played all year. Yeah, what are the games of this year? It's this, Beyond Citadel. Not a lot else has grabbed me. I've played a few things. Let's wait here and get that guy. I think it'll be funny. I think I can do it. Yes, what's funny about this game is that it's made by this, jacked nerd bodybuilder, IRL, and the premise of his game is that you are a nerd normal fag taking vengeance on these streets, but also you're a bodybuilder like the developer, so the protagonist just is stronger than all of the people he's hunting, even though this is a stealth game, so, yeah, you can just emerge and punch people and they die. It's a very funny idea, I think, just, yeah, the stealth game where you're just this, jacked, angry Slavic man who just fucking steps on people. There's a great physicality just to, this weird burly man running animation, the protagonist's giant fucking arms because he doesn't wear sleeves at night. He wears a ski mask and no sleeves. That's his look, and I like it a lot. Alright, what were we doing? We're just getting out of the first level now. As you can see, because of my silly challenge I've imposed upon myself, I'm quite familiar with this level. It really doesn't scare me, so I just run around bashing people and not really giving a shit if they spot me. Did I kill him? Yes. There's some stuff worth a bit of money in here. I really love that about this game, that, just the way money works, it's collection, which I emphasized in that silly gun video I made, that, yes, a big thing about working hobbyism and, interests into a game and, simulating that is that, it's not enough to just put it all there. You've got to actually, so much of any hobby experience is actually, engaging with it, accumulating things. Things are nice because, of the actual process of collecting them. All of my favorite games about collections of things, none of them give you stuff. You have to, grind for the girls in a hentai game, That's a silly example to start on, but it really emphasizes the point, I think. The actual first thing that came to my mind, though, my favorite, collection game was, Smash Bros. Brawl with all the trophies. Did anyone else really love them, or just me? No one can survive the angry Slavic game developers' desire to clean up these streets. Let's fire the gun just for the hell of it. Whoop. This game is so funny to, fuck around in. It's like Metal Gear Solid 5 in that way, really, really strongly. And yeah, if you really liked Intravenous and you want to get more mileage out of it, try the Anthony Deathwish challenge, whatever we call this. Just make a save at the start of the first level, skip all the cutscenes and dialogues. Don't do that if you're playing the game normally. It's actually a pretty entertaining story. I liked it a lot. And I like looking at the portraits. I like how this guy writes. I just think it's all pretty good. I like those little sprite in-betweens and everything. The presentation, the way you unlock stuff, do the tutorial in this place, take the guns to the range and fire them. It's all just cool shit. It's a fun world to experience at the intended pace. But yeah, once you've done all that, it's not oh, you're out of Intravenous. No, you play it Anthony style. You just fucking load up different meme gun combinations and try to kill the entire world in silly ways. If we get spotted, we'll go loud, otherwise we won't, and for that we'll bring the sawn off just because it's funny. The game has a manually cycling stealth pistol like Metal Gear Solid, you can be pretty lame and try to optimize this thing and have like the least interesting playthrough ever. This game does sound interesting where it's decibels, and the way they've worked it out, it actually makes sense, is of course that 45s are the quietest guns behind like the super specialized veterinary execution 9mm. So the quietest thing you can carry is a 1911 with a suppressor, because it's, you know, naturally subsonic and all that. So the most meta handgun is the Solid Snake's MK23. Or, you know, it's the old guy from Breaking Bad carries this thing. I think. Very funny, very silly show. Okay, we'll bring a medkit so we can survive if we get shot at. We won't wear the plate and Kevlar, we'll actually try to sneak. And we'll bring a Molotov because those are hilarious. And the Molotov will be slot 4. I'll try to hit the right button under pressure, we'll see if that'll work. And we're only on free gadgets, so what'll it be? Oh yeah, the throwing knife is a goddamn beast in this game. One friend of mine who played this thing like all the way through, like he watched a video I made, just like a private test video where I was using the throwing knife, and he's like, damn, I didn't like know the knife is a beast. Yeah, the knife is like the best weapon in the game. Don't use the nerd stealth pistol, that thing's a fucking like noob trap. It's lame. Get the MK23 and put a suppressor on it. And if you want to like one at a time be lame, stealth game meta, like quietly kill people, use the throwing knife. But yeah, this thing is, you know, it's Solid Snake's gun. It's already excellent, but like Snake, we gotta get that suppressor later on. And we've got this thing just because it's stupid. And you can change fire modes because it's a gun autist game. You know, the sprites are simple from top down, but like everything else about the realization and implementation of the guns is fucking fantastic. Like, look at how detailed these sprites in the bottom left are, and how like they get little like blue elements on top of the orange as you customize them. It's just very, very slick, very well executed. It's this level or the next one where you can find a like halfway tricked out MP5, and something I do in these runs pretty often just because I think MP5s are cool is I pick that up and keep swagging it out and make that like my starter. But yeah, also like Hitman 2, you want to be carrying out the most valuable thing you can find in your hands so you have it for the rest of the game. That's just such an inherently fun way to do this. Alright, what were we doing? Yes, and you can walk around without the gun out, and like Tarkov, you can toggle your movement speed. It's just a very well thought out game from a guy who's taken a lot of lessons from other games and isn't like weirdly neurotic about that and like hallucinating what other games do. Like, no, he takes ideas from other games like a Japanese person does, in the sense that like, no, he's actually taking the good bits. That shouldn't be like a weird niche thing that you have to like make a point of, like, yeah, when he copies other games, like, he actually makes his better by taking things that are good in other ones. But no, he's actually doing that. Not like the Western default thing where, like, some, like, French soy jacks make this ugly Unreal Engine abomination and call it a JRPG. Now, there's a guy down there, and... oh, fuck it, we got the throwing knife, I'll be fine. Best weapon in the game. Oh yeah, there's night vision in this as well. Do I have the night vision yet? Hang on. That wasn't very slick. I'm trying to remember which key is my night vision. Do I have night vision? Let me check my, like, options now. Well, I thought I was in, like, a terrible mood, but I feel good again now, so this is fine. I don't mind that I can't remember my... yeah, it's tab, Anthony. What are you doing? Ooh, yeah, we got that, like, analog filter effect. We're going blind. It's fucking great. Sorry, this was meant to be, like, a update video, but I'm just having fun with Intravenous. This is a very pleasant surprise. I was having a bad night, but now I'm happy with this. And I hope you are, too. Like, again, if you haven't bought Intravenous, go give this, like, Latvian man your money. It's a very cool game. He deserves it. Now, we're going to... do stealth game stuff here. Ha-ta! Yeah, the throwing knife, don't fuck with that thing. We close that so guys walking past might not notice. The AI is pretty good as well. This is Intravenous 1 as a DLC, reconstructed in the second game, by the way, if you didn't know. It's a bit odd how he did that. He did very well, I think. He kind of avoided the primary indie game mistake, which is basically trying to perfect the vision forever and going nowhere slowly. He instead just, you know, like, he cut his losses, made it, like, good enough to represent the idea as far as he could, and then, like, made the scenario in the Intravenous 1 engine, which was, you know, about half of the stuff he wanted this game to be. And then Intravenous 2 is a lot closer, and, you know, they're fundamentally the same thing, and he makes, like, a very robust level construction thing. So what he does, of course, is then he goes back and it's, you know, like, largely settled design and a very similar tool. He doesn't have to, like, plan it out so much as just assemble it. He then makes Intravenous 1 again in Intravenous 2, which is, yeah, like, he does that and makes money off of it. He sells it as a DLC. He'd probably get a decent number of, like, double purchases and stuff through doing that. And as well, at the same time, he's, if you want to get into it after Intravenous 2 is released, you don't have to play the worse one. You can just get right in with the mechanics and, you know, the updated skills and stuff that he, you know, would have done all along. I think that this is, yeah, again, that's a pretty good way to do it. Like, a lot of indie guys, it's sad, you hear that, like, yeah, they spend, like, 10 years making their one thing. Oh, the music's picked up. Someone might have found one of the bodies I left behind. Ah, well, we're almost done here. Did you see that? That's fucking awesome. Alright, now we gotta confront Ving Rhames. Yeah, I won't, like, spoil the plot too much or show which, like, celebrities are the portrait models. It's really funny just finding that stuff for yourself if you play this game. There's so much to like about Intravenous. But yeah, the guards are very dynamic as well, in a way that doesn't necessarily just make them, like, insanely strong, but they're going to, like, flood to where they last heard a gunshot. Whoop. They're all going to that warehouse, which means... I don't know, I'm gonna do this, though. Yeah, it's just fun to torment the guards in this game, because they're so dynamic, and they just react to all kinds of shit happening. And look how intelligent that is. Look at that ludonarrative brilliance of me just organically show-don't-telling my way out of this place. Whatever the fuck, I'm just making fun of gamer babble, you know that. It's just cool that I can just do whatever shit comes to mind, and I've got lots of hardcore elite habits from playing this a lot, and I can just do cool shit that makes sense. You know how it is. Cool games have a lot going on and let you do that. Not as a rule, but generally the more Western kind of game will do this, rather than, like... Where am I going? You know, there's very, like, elegant, contrived systems, and there are open systems, and yeah, an open game with all kinds of shit going on, you should just be able to kind of, like, make it your own way and it'll work, which is what goes on here. Much more dynamic than stuff like Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, in my opinion. The top-down just works excellently. And yeah, if you play it in a very action-oriented way like me, because you're stupid, you might think that this game is like taking a lot of cues from Hotline Miami, but it really isn't. Not that there's anything wrong with that, of course, if they were, but just, I'm not saying like, oh, don't accuse it of that, that'd be the worst thing ever. Like, no, Hotline Miami is cool, there's nothing wrong with taking cues from that, but, like, no, it's actually, like, just not that kind of game. You can kind of play it out that way, but no, it's really, like, top-down Metal Gear Solid 5 Splinter Cell kind of thing. Sword Off was really fun, let's bring that again. And we've got the Solid Snake Hank gun. Walter. You and Jesse cooked too much, Walter. Pew pew! Look at that, like, the fucking The fucking magazine like bounced off the wall, the shells do that, and of course the sound of your gun, like you can hear the magazine getting more hollow as you fire. Just lots of artist detail here, all that good stuff. We're gonna wear the light armor again and go in. We're not super heavily equipped, but yeah, we can do some damage. I think this is the level with the MP5. I'll try to find that just so we get a different thing to show off. Yeah, this wasn't meant to be the Intravenous video, but it is. Enjoy watching me try to beat this game without dying using various mean guns. But yeah, what have I been up to? On RPGcodex, I've been getting into internet bar fights over SKG, stop killing games, which I think is very silly. I'm not speaking out against Ross, but basically, you know, it's just a very silly movement being pushed by a lot of people with bad pathological motivations who don't know what they're talking about, and I've reduced it to a couple of key thoughts which I could actually make like slightly high effort videos on. If you guys really want that, or if, you know, the few people who watch this, harass me tomorrow if you want me to make basically an SKG video, now that it's probably already over and all of the people who were super passionately invested in it have forgotten what it was, who Ross is, and so on. But basically, I think it led me to some more productive thoughts than anybody else who was engaged with it, because it just kind of... The people on RPGcodex are stupid. They will just like keep replying to you without understanding that they don't understand you, but just constantly like refining the thought basically as mental exercise while talking to people who are too dumb to just like follow you. That's not totally fruitless, just you end up with like a hyper-refined repetition of the same thing you've been saying all along, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, what did the like constant repetition, super refinement of I don't really sympathize with stop killing games look like? I mean, I sympathize with Ross, but on the whole the movement is silly. Where did it lead me? Kind of the same place as the horse armor thread, that infamous discussion we had on RPGcodex, which is, again, that just like, video games stopped being what a lot of people liked and were comfortable with a fairly long time ago, and no one really... The language is all junk. Different ammos, by the way, like Tarkov. There's what we were after, the MP5. And that's got a compensator, not a silencer on it. Now I can ghost this level as well, but we'll see if we actually do that. That room is a trap. There's a guy on a couch there in the dark, just as you do. But we go around the edge and we're fine. Yeah, this game is kind of like old Splinter Cell in that there's basically a true route through every level where you won't get spotted, but it's generally a lot more dynamic, and the more like stealth-oriented levels in like Intravenous 2 are like really sprawling and beautiful. Like you'll go into these big building complexes with dozens of guys, and yeah, trying to find the golden path through that can be super compelling, as is like if you just let the situation fall apart, like trying to dynamically find a way to survive through that place going into chaos is just a super fucking interesting experience. But yeah, what was I saying about SKG? The same thing I have to say about like why opposition to DLC and microtransactions is silly is some people took this badly. I think it was kind of poorly understood what I meant. It is a weird thing to say. What I said is that video games are dead in the sense of like video games as artifacts, as like an industry which is living and constantly producing that. And by artifact, I mean like finished, self-contained work. It's all it is or will be, is what the game is, like an artifact. Like it's a static, finished thing. You look at it now, it's what it was then, and you know, like context around it will change. Like you watch it on a different class of screen or whatever, but like if you go and watch like a Stanley Kubrick movie, it's still the movie that he made. It's an artifact. Barry Lyndon is an artifact. Star Wars is an artifact. And at the same time, like, do you understand how there is a comparable class of video games? We can say that, like, oh yeah, Mario 64 is an artifact, or, you know, Halo Combat Evolved is an artifact, even if, like, 343 have, like, fucked around rebuilding it for PC or whatever. Still, fundamentally, it is in this sense I'm talking about. After a certain point, that stopped being the majority of what video games are, especially at this like big scale where people feel like it's particularly high stakes. Huta! There's money on the table, you see, so I had to do that. Now let's turn the lights off so people don't find that. I think the guards, if they find a light turned off that was on, they get like pissed off and want to investigate the room. But if I chuck this guy in, no, you can't put that in there. Let's hope no one looks. Okay, what were we doing? Yeah, but video games as artifacts, basically, the video game industry as a thing where, like, we had a constant succession of big, high-budget projects made by teams with, like, bleeding-edge tech and talent making self-contained, complete works that were meant to impress you and potentially last, be of, like, artistic gratification to the people who were making them. That industry, that entire like status quo, the economic incentives, everything that went into making the industry that at one point, like that whole cultural moment, that whole disposition, that set of audience expectations even is just gone. And when people are mad at various things, they're mad at the corpo slopper getting them with the microtransactions that you can buy like a gun skin in Destiny. These people don't know what they want or what they're asking for when they say that they wish like you couldn't buy a gun in Destiny because Halo wasn't like that. What they mean is we wish that people were making like these start, middle, and end self-contained projects like Halo again. Even though for the most part Halo was basically played as a service, you play the new one to, you know, you buy the new one, it's got this campaign that the guys spent all that time and effort writing, and it's all very fancy, but ultimately to most people it is just like deathmatch and so on. But people really miss that sense of like each product being this like premium self-contained fancy thing. Yes, this game has interesting silencer balance, by the way. Again, I just really want to emphasize how cool it is that it's like Tarkov, where like they're still relatively loud, but it introduces this really interesting balance. It's a silly word to say balance in a single-player game, but you just get this very interesting dynamic where, like, you can kind of get away with firing a silenced gun under certain circumstances, and, like, the idea with any, like, big primary weapon you throw a silencer on is that, yeah, it's like one of the few games that captures the sense of something being less loud, where, like, yeah, you can get like an AR-15 later in the game, and if you like fire that with a suppressor on, the guys will roughly know where you are, and you'll be able to create like, you know, smaller little engagements where like a couple of rooms worth of guys will home in on you at a time, and the rest will just be kind of like panicking and running in circles. It's just about one of a kind, really. Like, Metal Gear Solid does kind of more like the binary thing where, like, you're either quiet or you're not, and how they do that in Metal Gear Solid 5 is just that, you know, suppressors degrade, but that's not really going to happen. But where were we? Yes, video games are dead in the sense that, you know, like, the whole artisan, one-of-a-kind, like, self-contained product culture, we didn't respect that and we let it die in the West, so yes, it is the consumer's fault, not so much the distributors'. The many maligned measures of, like, the late Obama era, like, on-disc DLC, you buy Javik as a companion in Mass Effect 3, like, that wasn't, like, crazy, greedy measures. That was basically, like, the last-ditch attempts at salvaging the old model, like, okay, it costs too much to make, like, a one-off game, and we haven't fostered a culture of, like, people think that's worth doing just because it's, like, worthwhile to respect artists and let them work on real things. We aren't that kind of world. What am I doing with this guy? I don't even know. No, we were meant to do... That's what we were after. Where am I even going? I gotta get to the road or something. We'll figure it out, I'm sure. Pick this... I left my throwing knife in a guy's body, didn't I? That's the risk with the throwing knife. You don't have to go back and pick up your bullets if you use the silenced nerd gun. Will we kill this guy? Nah, let's be sneaky. If you hold down the sprint button and run at a low ledge, you just dive right through it, which is a very cool idea, I think. Okay, no one's gonna see me getting into there, and there's money under that bed, and I want it. I've looked at the level creator of this game, it's very charming. I didn't look enough to get good at it, just enough to like appreciate how much ingenuity and thought went into each level of this game. Like, it's not easy to build stuff in this thing's editor, but it is a very robust and like user-friendly tool at the same time. But just like making one building full of stuff must have been like a lot of work for this guy. Like, you look at a tutorial, how long it takes him to like show you how to make one room, like one building with a few rooms, and tell the guys in it what to do. Again, like, very simple AI in this game. It's like Halo, they're just running from node to node. But yeah, it's very impressive, very charming, just building this game piece by piece. Tell that to Zod's snap neck. What were we doing anyway? Yes, video games are dead in the sense that even in Japan, where they did have like a culture of actually respecting artists and just much better economics around video games of... Whoops, now it's on. Over the fence, over the fence. Shoot the lights. This game is so much fun. Yeah, we'll go until the end of this run at the very least. But yeah, even in Japan, you have this fact of... Yeah, it still got more expensive to make games, but the Japanese are a much better consumer culture and a culture that actually, like, respects staff at companies. They want to, you know, have artists doing real work as much as possible. And, you know, like, in Japan, if you re-release Persona 5 with 10% more stuff in it, rather than being called, like, scum trying to rip off the people who ostensibly are your fans, you know, in Japan, the reaction is like, oh, I'm a fan. These guys who made this thing that I love and I've sunk all this time into and I follow, they are, like, giving me a bit more stuff and I have an opportunity to show them more support. Like, hell yeah, I'll buy every edition of Persona 5 or 4 or whatever the fuck's going on. Like, yeah, I've spoken to Japanese people who have said, like, or at least one guy, he knows who he is if he listens to these, I don't think he does. And he's like, yeah, if I like something, I'm gonna buy, like, every edition of it possible. I'm like, fucking hell yeah, man, that's the way to go. I bought the, like, support DLC for this game. There are, like, 3 extra guns in my armory or something because I paid an extra few dollars to this guy. It's not necessarily because I wanted the guns, even though they're cool. And do they make the game easier? Well, you know, the guns are all broadly the same, but you do get some pretty interesting and powerful ones. The real interesting, like, power gun you get if you buy that DLC is the P90. Why am I saying that here? I should open the gun screen and show you. Anyway, look at the interesting appraisals you can get where I was, like, getting spotted, but just because I was so, like, quick putting guys down, I'm silent assassin. Hell yeah. This game doesn't get, like, up your ass about killing people. It's very much like you're meant to play it the way I already play things like Metal Gear Solid, where you kind of go shark mode and just, like, dive in and out of the water, like, you're down low, you're hiding, and then you surface and you just, like, rip someone's head off and you're up, down, and even when you're going, like, loud, you can create this weird, interesting rhythm of, like, really dynamically, like, diving in and out of action, in and out of violent scenarios. But anyway, yeah, I have the full spread of guns because I bought in. Some you only find in the campaign, and it kind of gives you an edge that all of the DLC guns are available from the start, but they're expensive, and yeah, I spent my money on the MK23, but if I didn't, I could afford the P90, which is fucking amazing. And there's also a, if we go to the pistols, wherever they are... Oh no, I have to open this tab, my bad. Yes, there's also a FN57, which is part of the same DLC, so... Yeah, the only 2 guns in the game that use 5.7, but if you buy the DLC, you can rock both of them and just have your fancy meme build and flex on the poor fags, and yeah, I'm happy to do that because yeah, I like the developer of this game, I follow him on Twitter, he seems like a nice guy, and of course, the game is fucking cool, why wouldn't I want to support it? But yes, we don't have that gracious attitude fostered in the West, where just kind of these... I do believe I'm on record saying for a long time that I think gamers in the West are genuinely entitled people. Just, yeah, entitlement does not mean that you don't like IGN reviews. It means that, like, no, you treat developers like shit and are always trying to, like, look for an edge against them. It's horrible the way we treat those poor people. Do I put a suppressor on the MP5? Yeah, sure. You know, there's an MP5 SD somewhere in this game, and I've simply never been able to find it. I just don't know where it is. We can do all kinds of things to it now. Some of these are objectively better, some have trade-offs like rate of fire for controllability or controllability for rate of fire. Magazines, we got options. The bigger ones make you slightly less sneaky and slightly slower. I think I go for the slightly bigger magazine on the MP5, I like that. Magwell is just objectively better. Fancy grip. Infrared laser, hell yeah. Magazine. Extended. Yeah, now we got a goddamn gun. And you see the parts go orange when it's not selected. And last thing, we'll put glow sights on our MK23. But yeah, what was I saying? The other thing, the other factor that I think is interesting is that video games now have, like, just in Japan, 2 factors, in the West, triple factor, like end of history working against them, or kind of maturation of the medium might be a better way to put it. We could say video games are dead, but they're dead in the same sense that, like, literature was arguably dead by, like, the mid-20th century, in that basically everything that could be done was done, and, like, the new vital energy was going to new places, and what we were left with was basically a kind of a medium which is kind of on one hand frivolous, and on the other hand is kind of like old, backwards looking, reflective, playing with its own memory. Now that doesn't mean they're dead, of course, like gone, like novels kept happening for a long time, but I think what's going to happen is basically it's already happening here, it's on your screen right now, is that basically, like, every novel is largely just, like, reacting to what happened before World War II. Like, that's when literature was defined. There are many ways we could frame this, of course. It's a big issue, and I'm not the one most qualified to talk about this. But I have been talking about this with various more informed people who know what they are. I don't know if they watch these videos or not. But anyway, yes, there's always this... After you hit a certain point, things become backwards looking, and you see it happening... for better and worse now, like me on one hand and your Sphere Hunters and Hazels and Tim Rogers on the others, where, like, what a video game is, what it can do, what it can be, is largely just defined by this point, and yes, we're all going to be living in the shadow of Mario and Sam Fisher and Solid Snake, and it'll be very, very hard to overcome that, and even our big breakthroughs in the future will probably be like very like heavy self-conscious and reflective works playing off of these memories rather than like a true just like effortlessly young frontier. Video games are dead is a thought we could revise very heavily, but it's not something I'm going to say I was wrong on. Some people did kind of disagree with me on this, but you know, it's a big subject. We can explore it a lot dialectically. I should probably make a forum thread on it or something. Ta! See how fucking good the throwing knife is? I don't give a shit if I'm leaving bodies. Yes, the protagonist yells in text when he starts going loud. That's fucking awesome. Full auto MP5. Let's go. Man, I'm still alive. Look at me go. Those of you who have played Intravenous, are you in awe of how fucking good I am at this game yet? I think there's some free shit if I go down here. Here we go. See, that's silenced guns for you. Like, these guys in this part of the level didn't hear me, but like at the top half, they're all losing their shit. And it's a game you can meta-knowledge, like a Deus Ex, Splinter Cell, whatever, I know where shit is. There's loads of money in here and our first assault rifle if we want it. Definitely we take our precious metals while they argue about how to get in here. Do I want the G3? It's a nice gun, but I'm pretty happy with this MP5. It's got a silencer, it's customized, it's not as big as the G3. The G3 is a monster though, like you might think, oh, this is a Hotline Miami Vania-born like where top down doesn't every gun kill in one hit. It's hard to explain, but like no, the dynamics between different guns are very well realized, and like, this is a game that, like Tarkov, will just kind of like make you appreciate that an assault rifle is really like a weird, distinct thing in a class of its own. Like, yeah, like these things exist for a reason. Every army is full of guys carrying these for a reason. Like, you set the G3 to like its weird autistic German 2-round burst, and you will just do horrifying things to people with that gun. But yeah, we're back in stealth mode. Hey, I've still got my knife. But I might keep the pistol out in case this rapidly becomes an emergency. I think I can stealth through this room. Yeah, we're gonna, like classic Anthony trying to play Splinter Cell in 2004 moves here. We're going to, like, watch the patrols and try to dive into the safe spot. Ooh, I know what to do. When he turns around again. Yeah, in Intravenous 2, a lot more of the guards are tagged to like react if they lose track of another guard, but in this one, you can kind of get away with more like 6th generation stealth, like, hey, where'd that guy I was just standing next to go? Must have been the wind, eh? Wind takes you into this corner and keeps hitting the wrong key to pick you up, and then we finally remember to step on the head. There's an Uzi, which we don't need. We got this. Do I have all the ammo I need? I'll take more, why not? Now, where am I? Think it's dark enough here for me to just slink by him. Ooh, this game is tense, isn't it? But yeah, that's the other factor, like whatever you want to call it, the weight of history, the anxiety of influence. I could very easily be like the first guy to talk about that in video games. It really is just like having been on Lit in like 2014 is kind of a superpower compared to how most people are able to talk about things. Oh, it's on. Okay, we're doing it this way then. This might be it, folks. Yeah, this is what happens in this game once shit goes loud. Things get weird. Alright, I got the bandages though, we're gonna make it. Guys, watch me fix this. Watch me salvage this. I can do it. I can do it. I'm totally gonna make it. Yeah, healing is like weird, layered, and slow, but you can, if you're on top of things, actually like recover from getting shot almost dead. Hell yeah. Look, it's a certain famous Twitter user. I've made that joke before. Oh wait, I can't skip this cutscene. That's for your comments about China. God damn it, he's going nuclear. Mike Oldfield playing, it's montage time, everything's gotta die. Okay, we fully healed and everything, let's get out of here. Yeah, this is what you can just do in this game when you're a fucking god like me. Just get caught, kill like a dozen people, get out, full health again, no problem. Also note under my red health bar there is an armor bar as well. This game is so many things at once, it's like a mini Tarkov on top of being mini Splinter Cell, quieter Hotline Miami. Just all kinds of shit at once. There were 52 enemies in that level. I died 0 times, of course. Fired 53 shots, 20 hits. 11 kills with guns, 2 with knives, 2 guys I stepped on. 14 kills, just spotted twice. Times heard, once aggression 3. Those stats mean you're a fucking god. I'm happy. I was having a bad time trying to make this video before, but now I'm just in a good mood. I'm happy to lightly update you on thoughts and happenings. Let's replace the Molotov with hand grenades, they're more fun. And we'll keep using the MP5, pick up a rifle if we live long enough to. This thing will definitely keep, it's my favorite pistol, but do we... Putting a reflex sight on your pistol is lame, what else we got? Trigger? No. Mag, well that's not lame, we can do that. Do we get the extended mag on the MK23? Actually, I'm pretty happy with it as is. Ooh, but we do get that, I think. The infrared laser and the custom grip and the match ammo. Hell yeah, now this is the real solid snake gun. The MP5 we won't upgrade anymore, we'll trade this for a meaner gun if we keep living. But yeah, this is what's like on my mind. If there's a thought I want you to engage with beyond, hey, Intravenous is cool, I'm going to go give the Intravenous guy my money. It's this idea of like, okay, what is like SKG, people getting mad at microtransactions, all of these are just confused consumer reactions to the state of video games fundamentally changing due to several things happening at once, which I think made it even more confusing, but the key factors I identify are, yes, rising production costs made, you know, big productions not like automatically viable, American consumer culture being kind of inherently anti-artist, anti the idea of art, and really kind of like fucking things up for people who wanted to do things interesting in video games for the sake of it being interesting. They're gonna find that, we gotta move. Yeah, that's just, like, do you want me to try, like, seriously making a full video? Like, if I made a video called, like, why I don't support SKG, and on the thumbnail it says, like, games are already dead, like, that's our, like, weird, subliminal, liminal, like, mind hook if we want to actually get the big views and then get me banned off the internet because all my opinions are illegal. Right, a loud gunshot went off back there, but that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world because I escaped into that liminal skibbity hole. Yeah, I think I'm going to put on that, Kevlar, actually. And is there an AR-15? Yes, there is. Give me the big bullets if I come back out of this where... Ooh, we could try to kill everyone in this level. Do we do it? I think we do. Yeah, don't fuck with AR-15s in Intravenous. And no, you can't corner camp that well because they're just going to, like, eventually try to, like, camp outside for you. They're pretty good even though they're running on, like, very simple scripting and logic. Like, across every level there are just, like, designated, like, camp points if you know there's danger roughly over here and so on. Oh my god, look at that. This game is so awesome. And now all the lights are fucked up, they can't see me. Let's grab the bullets out of that and get out of here. I cannot reload my gun in the vent, unfortunately. Actually, getting out of this outside might be much more dangerous. Oh, I thought I got my pistol out, my bad. Well, the guards should be shitting themselves and running in every direction, and that's kind of a double-edged thing. They're like alert and ready to fire, but at the same time they're like very disoriented. Did I drop my pistol? I did somehow. I don't even know which key does that, but I accidentally hit it. Oh well, the AR-15's gonna have to, yeah, do some big work. Let's burst fire this thing. There will be a pistol around, don't worry, people. Yeah, we can totally survive this level, just it's gonna be very high stakes. I want that pile of money because I'm stupid. Look at that, $1,000. We can swag out this AR with that. Oh, shit. Yeah, you've got to take this game seriously. Why was I doing, like, the automatic gamer reload? Because I'm stupid, what can I say? Why don't we go back to the first level just to talk a little more and then we'll just stop it. But yeah, do you see why I enjoy just... For those of you who know Intravenous, do you see why I find this fun? Just fucking make a save on the first level and play it with permadeath. That's not like a setting, but it should be. I've actually considered just like saying to the dev, like, hey, have you ever considered playing your own game like this? It's actually really goddamn fun. Like, if I were to, like, just start uploading a series of these, would I even need to edit? Is this inherently entertaining? I don't know. I can't really conceptualize watching me play this game, like, if you're not familiar with it. Or if you are, I don't know. I just find this game so fun to play. It's got me in a good mood. Good stuff. Is that like a kick key while you're holding the gun? Sorry, I haven't played this game in a while. I just don't remember everything. So, drop weapon is G. I must have done that before by mistake. Melee strike, that's it. C. And yes, you can do that with like rifles and stuff. Whoop, he melee struck me. Let's do it again, I'm having a great time. Yes, I've beaten both Intravenous's. I really love them to death, and they're just a fun mess-around game for me. I wanted to get into a kind of light mood where I could just vaguely talk about what's going on, vaguely show you a game, kind of get back to the premise of the channel and just, yeah, make a video and feel alright about doing that to hopefully feel more alright to cover more things going forward. And took a couple of starts, but look at us now. We're feeling alright and playing a video game on the internet. Let me start one more moronic gunfight and we'll call it. Don't you just love, like, the feedback and how guns sound in this? Like the, like, angry, cheap pop-pop noises. Some games, they just don't sound right in various ways. I don't know if there's any one way a gun should sound in a video game, but there's a lot of ways they shouldn't as well, and this is one that gets it. And yeah, I barely gave, like, any justice to that whole, like, starting subject of, like, video game anxiety of influence and so on, end of the medium, but we could do that again. That's like if I make another video. Hell, I might just play more Intravenous tomorrow and talk about that. This honestly feels so good, like, Jesus, why didn't I just like play Intravenous and talk random shit until I beat the game? Maybe that could go viral as well. No editing, we're back to our roots. The normal people will pretend they enjoy this. Whatever, I'm enjoying it. I don't care if nobody watches this. I'm in a good mood now because I played Intravenous. And that's that, the god says. You know, man, I think I agree, but it's been a great time, hasn't it? Yeah, so leave comments and stuff telling me if you're interested in anything I talked about here, and we'll see what we can do going forwards. I'm in a good mood about doing this, so I'll probably do it again.